Okay, so for your kicks, for your first stripe, we have Kisame Washigeri, Mawashigeri, and Ashibarai. Kisame Washigeri is your front kick with your roundhouse kick with your front leg. Mawashigeri is just your traditional roundhouse. And then Ashibarai is a foot sweep. Now you're going to notice that we're going to point out different ways to do your Mawashigeri and Kisame Washigeri. Okay? So the most basic and easiest way to do your Kisame Mawashigeri, your roundhouse kick with the front leg, you're going to start off in a side stance or a sideways horse stance. You're going to take your front leg and you're going to point the knee toward your target or toward the front. We're going to point the toes and point our foot kind of like a ballerina and then swing the leg across and bring it back. 1, 2. Okay. You can also do that from a front stance. This is what we typically do for students is we do the kick from a front stance. 1. Notice that the back leg needs to pivot and shift. 2. Okay? Now, when doing your roundhouse kick, we say that pointing the foot is the easiest way because it requires the least amount of coordination. However, here's the danger part about pointing the foot. If I point my foot and I try to kick with the instep, Ryland can drop his elbow and hit right here on the instep, either breaking my foot or causing an immense amount of pain and damage and bruising to those tendons and tissues. Okay? So you want to be careful. If you're going to point your foot, I typically wouldn't use my instep to kick anywhere near his body. I might use my instep to kick his shin. I'm sorry, not his shin, his thigh. But even then, if I'm that close, I might as well use my shin to kick his thigh. We go over how to use the shin later. As a yellow belt, you don't need to worry about it too much. But typically, you're using just this part of the shin right here in the front of it. The traditional way to do a Mawashigeri is actually to use the ball of the foot. And so that's why it's a little bit harder because you have to really arch or curl your toes back and hit with the ball of the foot. Let me do it on the other side. Up and across. So it's like swinging a baseball bat into the person. So the way we do that, we can either be in a side stance. Again, this is a more basic version. Being in a side stance is more basic. 1, I'm coming across. 2. So it looks like I'm using the sole, but I'm not because I'm coming across and using the ball of the foot. The most traditional way to do your Kisame Washigeri, which is the way that we prefer you guys to do it, is stay in your front stance, use the ball of the foot, pivot, and back into the front stance. 1, 2. Okay? Now time for your, and I was going to make one more thing about if I were to use the instep, it's probably to kick to the top of the head, right here, because I want to be a little bit nicer. And I'm not going to use the ball of the foot, because if I use the ball of the foot to his head, that causes a lot of damage. And I'm not that mean, okay? So it's kind of like a slap to the face with your foot. Now, to do your back leg roundhouse. Again, you can be in your front stance. We're going to break it down. The first step is we're going to bring the knee up to the elbow just like this, okay? And the second step is to swing around and apply the kick. So 1, 2. Notice that the back foot did pivot when I kicked. So watch this base leg as I come up. It's going to twist, kick, and then it's going to land on the front. Okay? So step 1, step 2, and drive forward. Let's do it one motion. 1. Good. Now, obviously, as a beginner, we break things down like this, but you're not going to throw your kick like this. We're just kind of giving you an idea of like how to turn your body. When you throw the kick's going to be a little more hidden, and it's just going to come from a straight line. It doesn't need to come all the way around because that's pretty easy to see, and you're telegraphing your motions. Okay, your next one is your Ashibarai. Ashibarai is your foot sweep. So the way you do it by yourself, right here in front stance, we're going to take the back foot, and there's several ways to sweep a foot. This is just a very basic way that we teach you in the beginning. You're going to take that back leg, you're going to lift the heel up, and you're just going to glide and hover your foot over. I'm going to be pivoting with my base leg. I'm going to be hooking their foot and pulling in. Pulling in is much more effective and you have a lot more strength than kicking out. If you don't believe me, try it. Try to kick out and try to kick in and see how much stronger you can be. So if Ryland's over here, so I'm just gonna keep my foot around, I'm gonna hook his ankle, and I have contact on my instep and my shin. So 2 points of contact to create leverage, and then I just hook in. So if I'm right here, I just bring my foot and I hook it in. And it's pretty simple. What you can do is you can grab onto their wrist and their shoulder, grab onto their arm that's on the same side. So since his left leg's in the front, I'm grabbing onto his left arm. And it's really just to guide him down. It's not to throw him down. So as I'm here, I could come here, get set, and then I'm just gonna hook and kind of guide him down. Or I can really reap the leg and hold him down. So that way he's not hitting too hard. So you could reap the leg, or you could just come in nice and smooth and practice that way as well. Just making sure you're hooking the leg, because if I keep my heel down, I'm just gonna be kicking his ankle or his shin, and that kind of hurts, right? So you don't wanna do that. You wanna hook the leg, right? The ankle and the leg. Now to practice it by yourself, we just face the camera, and you don't wanna drag your foot on the ground. You just wanna kind of hover and glide over the ground. So I shouldn't be hearing too much sliding on the ground. So 1, it's that last second that you get to the ground. 2, and 3. Notice the pivoting in both feet, the shift in the hips, and that vibratory action. Good job.